Good afternoon, Internet. My name is Eric. Thank you for watching my video. I'm the creator of Flashbolts and the owner of flashbolts.com. And Flashbolts are threaded pistol crossbow bolts for your 50 to 80 pound pistol crossbow. All of our bolts are made with straight grain finished hardwood using non-toxic paints and sealers. All of our flights are bonding rubber shield cut X-vanes, and all of our end caps are metal threaded with standard arrow sizes, so that way you can change your tips from field tips to any loadout you want to personalize. And we also have some tip options available on the site. But for now, I want to go ahead and talk about our flash bolts. Our flash bolts come in 2 different sizes and 5 different colors. The sizes are measured from the end cap, so that way any tip you put in is going to change the size for you, of course. But our sizes are 6.5 inches and 8.5 inches. They do weigh in with 100 grain field tip. They do weigh in between 240 grains, 260 grains on the 6 3/4 inch, and about 250 grains to 280 grains on the 8 3/4 inch. That's a little bit of a variety because every bolt is handmade. Now, these bolts are heavier than what's typically available for your standard crossbow. So your typical crossbow ammunition comes in 2 standard flavors of plastic and aluminum. The problem that I did find with these bolts is their exceptional lightweight tends to make them unreliable. I'll go ahead and put the scale on to see if we can show that on camera here for you. Our plastic ones typically weigh in about 99, 100 grains. Aluminum ones, typically on the market, weigh in about 145 to 150 grains. That's very light for a 50 pound and is extremely light for an 80 pound crossbow. When I first started shooting a pistol crossbow, I was very disappointed. These tend to be very inaccurate, fly off course very easy, tend to be more dangerous to the shooter, as well as the aluminum bolts. I've never had an aluminum bolt with the plastic vanes survive more than 2 shots fired from even a 50 pound bow. What tends to happen is because these are so inexpensively manufactured, the vane just pop right out. The tips are just press fit in. Now, sometimes you will find bolts that say that they're threaded, and they in fact are. The difference with these threads, however, is, let me go ahead and grab one of our standard field tips. These threads are far too wide to accept any sort of traditional or alternate tip for your bolt. So unfortunately, you are, from what I've found at least, what I found is I can't find any tip to go into these. And again, at 150 grains, what happens with these typically is that the string will tend to slide right over or under, typically over the bolt. And what will happen with these is that they'll pretty much break on impact, or I've had a couple of them, basically I had 2 explode in my crossbow. And so with that, I also have a whole box or a whole bin of very well unused ones because I refuse to fire them anymore. I also have a lovely box of what I could recover. These I actually bought for 72 of them for maybe like 20 bucks. And you get what you pay for sure. I've tried everything from putting a little tape on them, glue, anything to try to keep them all together. Nothing seems to make them survive. With flash bolts, they are 100 to 150 grains heavier than the plastic and aluminum bolts respectively. They do vary just a little bit on the weight, so let me go ahead and weigh out a couple of them here for you. So it's a little bit breezy, so the scale might move a little, but this is 257 grains on a 6 3/4 inch. This is 235 on a 6 3/4 inch. This is 242, and this one weighs in at 245. So these are all made from the same stock, the same wood, same straight grain, finished hardwood. So this 8 3/4 inch is 261 grains, and this 8 3/4 inch is 252 grains. So you can see just with the difference in sizes overall, there is not a lot of weight difference, but we do list them at the heaviest on our website at flashbolts.com. So we have these listed at 280 grains, and we do have these listed at 240 grains, just because that's typically about the heaviest that they'll get. Tips, again, they're Bonding X Veins rubber. You have to like crank on these. I'm sitting here twisting this thing pretty hard. I don't want to forcibly remove it, but they're pretty good on there. They're stuck on there. You can kick my camera stand. If these happen to go into your target, they'll come right out, no problem. These are available, so we sell them in packs of 5. We call the 6 3/4 inch Sparks. So a 5-pack of Sparks of any one color. So we have available 5 colors: blue, purple, orange, black, and green. Any 5-pack of those is going to be $8.99, and they all do come with field tips. So you're getting the entire bolt. Here you go. You'll get 5 for $8.99. On the longer original flash bolts, you will get 5 for $10.99 for one color, but we're doing a $9.99 variety 5-pack, so you get one of each color for $9.99. And the best thing about these things is that you're getting your money's worth. You're going to shoot these dozens of times. I had shot bolts dozens and dozens of times just to see if there would be any failure point. I have not experienced that, and I've mass produced these on that same scale of quality. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you what tip options we have available on the website as well. Let's talk about these right here. These are 135 grain twisted tri-tip. That's a triple edged traditional style tip. And again, it does thread, and I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to put it into one of the Sparks size. So this threads right in. And with the shape of it, it will not interfere with any of the flighting on your rails. It won't cut into anything. And I've shot these many, many times before I decided to offer them as a product. And these are available for $11.99 for a 5-pack on our website. And all the prices that I'm listing so far, these are sale prices, meaning they will go up once our initial quantities are depleted. Next tip I want to talk about is our crash or impact tip. This is the exact opposite of penetration. This is made for just devastating impact on your target. And by the way, don't use a foam target with these two, as it will completely obliterate them. I do have some targets downrange I will fire at the end of this video to go ahead and give you a demonstration of what everything can do. And then finally, we also offer a 5-pack of 125 grain or 100 grain field tips. These are just sharper, and this one in particular, the 125, a little bit heavier than your standard tip. So if you just want a little bit heavier, a little bit sharper than your standard tip as well. So our normal target tips, are a little severe on the angle. So if you want something just a little bit sharper, a little more penetration, these are available in packs of 5, $5.99, on sale now during our grand opening. Now, if you've seen all of this and think to yourself, well, I'd love to have a crossbow to go along with it, we also do have a crossbow. The M48 self-cocking assault crossbow pistol. This is an 80-pound draw with an adjustable stock from 22 to 24.5 inches. This is available on our shop again for $54.99 during our grand opening. And I didn't just bring the box to show you. Those are the targets that we'll be firing at. I'll go into detail about those later. And I will be using the M48 Hellhawk 80-pound draw self-cocking assault crossbow pistol. The reason why I do have these on my website is because I purchased this. This is the crossbow that I purchased retail because this is just so much fun. So I did purchase this. This is my crossbow. It's been well used. I've shot this thing hundreds of times. This is the original string that came with it. I've kept it waxed. I've waxed it about every 5 or 6 shots. And it's warm out here, so the wax does tend to melt a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and send a few of our bolts down range. Our targets from left to right are an old dog pillow. Dog's fine, we got him a new pillow. EVA foam target, that's a 1/2 inch blue one on the front. There's the box that it's taped to has another 9 layers inside, so that's a total of 5 inches thick. There's a little bit of air and spacing because it's a well-used target, but that's about 5 inches thick of EVA foam. There's a concrete pavement block. Now that's going to be one of the last things that I shoot because I want to go ahead and show what will happen if you hit a hard target. Now I would say versus one of the standard aluminum bolts, but I refuse to fire those out of any crossbow anymore because they're dangerous. But I want to show that my bolts won't explode when it hits that target. Next to that, a 1/2 inch thick particle board. And then finally, we have corrugated sheet metal, tin roofing, however you want to refer to it. Let me just talk a little bit more about this. So this tactical crossbow, 80-pound assault M48 Hellhawk, has an angled foregrip, finger protection, so you don't accidentally slip up and get your fingers on the string. As you can see, the bolts fit right on the rail, flush against the stop. So again, this is your 6 3/4 inch. And then I'll go ahead and show you what an 8 3/4 inch on that looks like. There you go. So as you can see, the tip will sit just on the end, if not just past it, depending on the size of your bow rail, as well as the size of the tip you decide to use. If you put a spacer on it as well, that will add a little extra length. The width of the flights are 1.2 inches, so that will go right in between your sight, so you don't have to worry about catching anything. So right there on the fits right under the spring clip. I'm gonna wax my bow and string. We're ready to launch. So we're gonna take this one out and we're gonna go ahead and send the 6 3/4 inch into the pillow. Here we go, shot 1. Shot 2. So that was 2 shots to the pillow. Super soft target, so obviously made to absorb impact. Now all that I'm shooting right now are just the field tips as well. So let me go ahead and send 2 into the foam mat target. So I'm gonna go ahead and send 2 green 6 3/4 inch. So now let's have some fun. Now let's shoot a couple of the different tips into our softer targets. Okay, let's go ahead and use an 8 3/4 inch with our twisted tri-tip. I'm gonna go ahead and send that into, again, the foam target, just a little below the first 2 shots. And the twist on the tri-tip does assist in spiraling your bolt, so it will remain more accurate as it goes down range. Next, I'm going to go ahead and shoot the Crasher impact tip. And I'm going to go ahead and send that again through another 6 3/4 inch bolt. And I'm going to hit these. Well, let me go ahead and hit what I can of the foam target. It's going to fly straight. It's just going to do a lot of damage to it. Goodbye, target. Ugh. You definitely don't want to use those on your own foam targets, I assure you. And you'll see the difference of impact between and the depth of penetration between the 3 tips. Once we go ahead and do our final display of our bolts, I'm going to go ahead and send our blue 8 3/4 inch. So we're going to put on, just to show you that it all goes together. There we go. And you'll notice, so also there is no rattle in these tips whatsoever. Like just as soon as you start threading them, the collar on these is perfect. So we're sending the 125 grain sharper field tip, and we're going to send it into the particle board. Next, we're going to use just a standard field tip on an 8 3/4, and we're going to send that into the corrugated sheet metal. And finally, we're going to go ahead and send the black with yellow flights, the standard field tip, into the concrete block, and we're just going to show what happens if it hits a super hard surface. It didn't explode. So let's go ahead and check out Yep. So while I wouldn't fire this one again because of microfractures that are in that might be in the bolt itself, on the surface it doesn't seem to have taken really any structural damage. The tip comes right out, so it didn't even slam that. And I assure you, this is concrete pavement block here. Next, we'll go ahead and take a look at. So this went through the corrugated sheet metal. That's probably going to happen when you basically shave your bolt off. Here's what happened to that one. I assume most of us are not going to send this into corrugated sheet metal. Third, we have the sharper tip into the particle board. Next, we have the crasher impact tip inside of the, and it only penetrated just the tip. Again, this is not made for penetration. This is made purely for impact. Bolt's still well intact as well, ready to fire again. Go ahead and take out the next one. This is our twisted tri-blade, and that penetrated about 5 inches total. And then our standard tips, if I can take them out, that penetrated about 3.5 inches. On both of these, it looks like 3.5, maybe 4. And then right here on the super soft target, obviously it absorbed a lot of that impact, but very safe to go ahead and shoot if you have a spare pillow. While it didn't look like it did much damage and the second shot bounced right off, you saw from the penetration on the foam target what that energy will actually do. Well, and that's pretty much it. So please visit flashbolts.com. Visit us on Facebook at flashboltsaz. And if you have any questions, go ahead and hit the contact button on our website, or send us a message on Facebook. And you can ask anything about any of the products that we have here on our website. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to hear from you soon.